The contractions started at midnight, sharp and relentless, tearing through my body like lightning. I called my sister immediately, voice shaking with pain and fear. Sarah drove me to the hospital through empty streets, gripping my hand every time I cried out. The emergency room was bright and cold when they wheeled me in. A nurse checked my vitals while another prepped the delivery room. Then the on-call doctor walked through the door and my entire world stopped spinning. Leo Hart. My ex-fiancé. The man who vanished exactly 1 year ago without explanation, without goodbye, without anything at all. He froze when he saw me, clipboard dropping slightly in his hands. Our eyes locked across the sterile room. Every memory crashed over me at once. The proposal, the plans, the morning I woke to find him gone. Waya, he whispered, my name breaking on his lips. My heart shattered all over again, pain mixing with the physical agony ripping through my body. I couldn't breathe properly. I'll take care of you, he said quietly, professionally, but his voice trembled. I turned my face away sharply. Don't touch me. Another contraction hit hard and I screamed through clenched teeth. Leo moved closer despite my words, his doctor instincts taking over. Sarah stood protectively at my side, glaring at him with pure hatred. She'd held me through every tear after he left. Maya, I need to examine you, Leo said gently. Get someone else, I gasped between waves of pain. There's no one else available right now. Please let me help. His eyes were desperate, pleading, haunted by something I couldn't name. I wanted to refuse, wanted to kick him out, but another contraction made the decision for me. I nodded once, sharply, hating myself for needing him. His hands were steady and professional as he checked my progress, but I saw them shake slightly. You're at 7 centimeters, he said softly. It won't be long now. I stared at the ceiling, tears streaming down my face. Not from the pain, I could handle that. From the cruelty of this moment, this impossible situation. Why are you here? I whispered. His jaw tightened visibly. I transferred here 3 months ago. The pain came in waves, relentless and consuming. Between contractions, my mind raced backward, remembering everything I'd tried desperately to forget. The morning he left, I'd woken to cold sheets and silence. No note. No explanation. Just his absence echoing through our apartment. I'd written him a letter weeks later, pouring out every question, every hurt, every desperate plea for answers. But I never sent it. It stayed folded in my journal, a testament to my broken heart. Sarah had packed my hospital bag yesterday, throwing in random items. Pajamas, toiletries, my journal. Now she rummaged through it, looking for my phone charger. Her hand emerged holding the yellowed envelope instead. Hiya, what's this? She asked, reading the front. To Leo, words I'll never say. Before I could stop her, she walked straight to him and shoved it against his chest. Read it, she commanded fiercely. Read what you did to her. Leo's hands trembled as he unfolded the pages. I watched his face change as he read, pain, guilt, grief washing over his features. Hiya, he breathed, looking up with devastated eyes. Thunder crashed outside the hospital windows, rain lashing against the glass and sheets. The storm had rolled in fast and violent, matching the chaos inside me. Another contraction ripped through my body. Leo stayed close despite being told his shift was over, despite another doctor offering to take over. I'm staying, he said firmly to his colleague. The other doctor left, shaking his head. You never knew the real reason I left, Leo said quietly during a brief respite from pain. I turned to face him fully, anger burning hot in my chest. Then tell me now. Tell me why you destroyed everything we had. His eyes filled with tears I'd never seen before. My mother was dying. Stage 4 cancer. She had weeks, maybe days. My father, he blamed me for not being there enough. He said terrible things, threatened to cut her off from treatment if I didn't leave. Leave what? I demanded. Leave you, he whispered brokenly. He said you were a distraction, that I was choosing you over family. He gave me an ultimatum, you or her life. My heart cracked wider. Another contraction hit, and this time I reached for his hand instinctively, squeezing hard. He held on tight, tears streaming down his face. Suddenly, alarms shrieked through the room. Machines beeped frantically, red lights flashing everywhere. What's happening? I screamed, terror flooding every cell. Leo's face shifted into pure focus, the skilled doctor taking complete control. The baby's heart rate is dropping, he said, voice steady despite the chaos. We need to act now. Nurses rushed in from all directions. Leo barked orders with calm authority, his hands moving with practiced precision. I watched him work through my fear, seeing the man I'd fallen in love with years ago. Capable, brilliant, completely present. He'd always been this way in crisis, solid when everything else fell apart. Aya, look at me, he commanded, holding my gaze. Trust me. I've got you both. I nodded, unable to speak past my terror. His hands worked quickly, adjusting monitors, checking readings, making split-second decisions that could save or destroy everything. The baby's heartbeat flickered, unstable, dancing on the edge of catastrophe. Don't let her die, I whispered, voice breaking completely. Please, Leo. Don't let her die. He looked directly into my eyes with fierce determination. I won't lose either of you. I swear it. 10 minutes later, a cry pierced the room. Tiny, fierce, absolutely perfect. My daughter. She was here. She was breathing. She was alive. Relief crashed through me so powerfully I sobbed. Leo held her carefully, checking her over with gentle hands before placing her on my chest. She was beautiful, with dark hair and tiny fingers that gripped mine instinctively. She's perfect, Leo whispered, voice thick with emotion. Completely perfect. I touched her soft face, overwhelmed by love so fierce it hurt. Ilara, I said softly. Her name is Ilara. Leo went completely still. That was the name we'd chosen together, late one night curled on our couch, dreaming of a future that never came. You remembered, he breathed, tears streaming openly now. I couldn't look at him, couldn't acknowledge what this meant. A nurse approached with a clipboard, smiling warmly. Congratulations. I just need some information for the birth certificate. Father's name. The question hung heavy in the air. I looked at Leo, then at Ilara, then back at the nurse. My mouth opened but no words came. Leo stood frozen, waiting, hoping, terrified. I started, then stopped. I need time. They moved me to a recovery room hours later, my body exhausted but my mind racing endlessly. Ilara slept peacefully in the bassinet beside me, tiny chest rising and falling. Sarah had gone home to rest, promising to return in the morning. The hospital was quiet, just soft beeps and distant footsteps. Then I saw him. Leo stood outside my door, half hidden in shadow, just watching. He didn't come in, didn't announce himself. He just stood there, staring at Ilara through the window with an expression of pure longing. I watched him watch her, my heart twisting painfully. After several long minutes, he finally stepped inside slowly, carefully, like I might shatter. Can I? He started, gesturing toward the bassinet. Just look. I won't touch. I nodded once, unable to speak. He approached so carefully, peering down at her sleeping face. His hand reached out but stopped inches away, trembling in the air. He didn't hold her. He just looked, memorizing every detail. She's everything, he whispered. Everything I didn't deserve to see. I took a shaky breath. You need to tell me everything, Leo. Tonight. No more secrets or running away. Leo sat down heavily in the chair beside my bed. Outside, dawn was just beginning to break through the darkness. He looked exhausted, broken, older somehow. My father blackmailed me, he started quietly. When my mother got sick, he became paranoid, controlling. He blamed everyone for her illness. The doctors, himself, me. Especially me, because I'd chosen my career over spending every moment at home. I listened silently, my anger mixing with something softer. He found out about our engagement. He told me you were using me, that you only wanted my money and status. I told him he was insane. So he threatened to stop my mother's treatment entirely, to let her die in pain, unless I left you immediately, and never explained why. My breath caught sharply. That's impossible. He couldn't. He could. He controlled everything. Her insurance, her access to specialists, everything. I tried to fight him, but she was dying so fast. I couldn't risk it. So I left. Tears streamed down my face. You should have told me. I wanted to. Every single day. But he monitored everything, my calls, my emails. If I contacted you, he'd know. I reached into my nightstand, pulled out the engagement ring I'd never returned, never sold, never stopped wearing on a chain around my neck. I kept this, I whispered. Leo broke down completely. The next morning, Leo returned with coffee and circles under his eyes. He'd clearly never slept. He stood at the bassinet, just staring down at Alara like she was a miracle he didn't dare touch. "You can hold her," I said softly. He looked at me surprised, terrified. "Are you sure?" I nodded, my heart pounding. He reached down with trembling hands, lifting her so carefully it made my chest ache. Alara stirred slightly but didn't wake, settling against his chest naturally. Leo's face transformed completely, wonder, love, grief and joy all mixed together. He sat down slowly, cradling her like she was made of glass. We sat in silence, the three of us together in this small room. Everything felt suspended, fragile, important. Then Alara's face scrunched up and something incredible happened. She smiled. Her first real smile, tiny and perfect. It was probably just gas, the nurses had warned me, but it looked so real. And she smiled directly at Leo as if recognizing something deep and true. Leo let out a choked sob, tears falling onto her blanket. "I missed everything," he whispered brokenly. "I'm so sorry." The peaceful moment shattered when raised voices echoed from the hallway. A woman's voice, sharp and demanding. "I need to see Dr. Hart immediately. It's urgent." I tensed instinctively. Leo's face went pale. A nurse tried to turn her away, but the woman pushed past, appearing in my doorway. She was beautiful, polished, wearing expensive clothes and a determined expression. "Leo, we need to talk," she said firmly, barely glancing at me. "Not now, Jennifer," Leo said quietly, still holding Alara protectively. "Yes, now. It's about what we discussed." My stomach dropped sickeningly. What they discussed? Leo stood, carefully placing Alara back in her bassinet. "Outside," he said firmly. They stepped into the hallway, but I could still hear fragments through the cracked door. "You can't just ignore this. I told you it's over. But the baby..." My heart stopped completely. The baby? Jennifer's baby? I felt like I was drowning, like everything was happening again. The abandonment, the lies, the betrayal. I couldn't do this. I couldn't survive this again. When Leo came back inside, I was already packing my things with shaking hands. "Maya, what are you doing?" "Leaving. We're leaving." "Maya, please listen," Leo started desperately. "No. I'm done listening. Done believing. Done hoping." I was crying now, throwing items into my bag frantically. "That wasn't what you think," she mentioned a baby, Leo. "Your baby. How stupid do you think I am? There is no baby." She's lying, but I couldn't hear him anymore. The nurse helped me check out early against medical advice. Sarah arrived 20 minutes later, took one look at my face and helped me gather everything. Leo stood helplessly in the doorway, hands shaking, looking completely destroyed. "Maya, please. Don't do this," he begged. "You did this," I said coldly. "A year ago and again today." Sarah pushed past him with Alara's car seat. I followed without looking back. In the parking lot, I glanced up once. Leo stood at the window, palm pressed against the glass. I turned away. That night, I found an envelope slipped under my apartment door. Leo's handwriting. Inside, just one sentence written over and over. "I never stopped choosing you. I never stopped choosing you. I never stopped choosing you." 3 weeks passed in a blur of sleepless nights and endless feedings. Alara was perfect, beautiful, everything I'd ever dreamed. But the apartment felt hollow without the future I'd imagined. I was stronger now, or at least I told myself I was. Then a package arrived, hand-delivered, no return address. Inside was a letter, pages and pages in Leo's handwriting. My hands shook as I read. He wrote about the year we'd been apart, how he'd watched me from afar, making sure I was safe. How he'd transferred to this hospital hoping, praying he'd see me again. How his mother had died 6 months ago, and in her final moments she told him to find me, to fight for me, to stop letting his father's poison destroy his life. He wrote about the morning he left, how he'd stood at the door for an hour, memorizing my sleeping face, knowing he was making the worst mistake of his life. The final sentence was underlined 3 times. "I never stopped choosing you. I just forgot how to fight for us." I sat on the floor holding the letter, and for the first time in weeks I let myself cry. Really cry for everything we'd lost and everything we might still save. A knock on my door made me jump. I opened it cautiously, expecting Leo. Instead, an older woman stood there, elegant and kind-faced, with Leo's same eyes. "I'm Catherine Hart," she said gently. "Leo's mother." My heart stopped. "But Leo said you Died? I nearly did. I'm in remission now, thank God. She smiled sadly. May I come in? I let her inside, my mind reeling. She sat carefully looking at Alara sleeping nearby. She's beautiful. She has his chin. Why are you here? I asked quietly. Catherine reached into her purse, pulled out a photograph and handed it to me. It showed Leo on the night he left me, sitting in a hospital chair beside her bed, holding a ring box, crying. This was taken by a nurse, she explained softly. He proposed to you in his heart 100 times that night. But his father was poisoning everything, telling him terrible lies about you, threatening to withhold my treatment if Leo didn't cut you out completely. She touched my hand gently. I didn't know until months later what his father had done. I was so sedated, so sick. When I found out, I told Leo to find you to fix this. She left the photograph. I stared at it for hours. A week later I texted Leo. 3 simple words, come meet her. He arrived within the hour, breathless, terrified, hopeful. We sat on opposite ends of the couch while Alara lay between us on a blanket. I'm not ready to forgive everything, I said carefully. But she deserves to know her father. If you're ready to be that. I'm ready, he said immediately. Whatever you need. Whatever timeline you need. We established rules. Supervised visits, clear boundaries, no pressure on me. He could be her father without being my partner. At first it was awkward and painful. He'd come over, hold her carefully, read her stories in his gentle voice. He never pushed, never asked for more. But I noticed things. The way he'd bring my favorite tea without being asked. How he'd quietly wash bottles while I napped. The way his eyes found mine across the room, full of words he didn't say. One evening, while warming a bottle, his hand brushed mine accidentally. He pulled back immediately. Sorry. But neither of us moved away. My heart raced. He looked at me with such naked longing it made breathing difficult. Then Alara cried and the moment broke. But something had shifted between us. At 2 a.m, Alara's screaming woke me from exhausted sleep. I tried everything, feeding, changing, rocking, singing, but nothing worked. He felt warm, too warm. Panic set in fast. I called Leo without thinking. Something's wrong. She won't stop crying. She feels hot. I'm coming, he said immediately. Right now. He arrived in 12 minutes, still in pajamas, medical bag in hand. He checked Alara quickly, efficiently, then looked at me with calm authority. Mild fever, probably from her vaccines yesterday. It's normal but scary. I'll stay, make sure it doesn't spike. We sat together in the dim nursery, taking turns holding her, monitoring her temperature. Around 4 she finally settled, sleeping peacefully against my chest. The relief was overwhelming. I started crying, from exhaustion, from fear, from everything I'd been holding inside for so long. Leo moved closer instinctively, wrapping his arms around both of us. You're doing amazing, he whispered into my hair. You're the best mother she could have. I turned my face into his shoulder, breathing him in. I missed you, I whispered into the darkness. Every damn day. Even when I hated you, I missed you. His arms tightened. I'm here now. I'm not leaving again. Ever. 2 days later, Jennifer showed up at my door. I almost slammed it in her face, but she held up her hands. Please. Just 5 minutes. I need to tell you the truth. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She sat on the edge of my couch, looking uncomfortable. I lied, she started bluntly. At the hospital. There was never a baby. I never slept with Leo. I made it all up. My jaw dropped. Why would you? Because I wanted him. I've wanted him since medical school. When I heard he was back single, I thought maybe I had a chance. Then I saw the way he looked at you in that hospital room and I knew I never did. So I got desperate and stupid. She looked at me with genuine remorse. I'm sorry. I ruined something that wasn't mine to touch. He's been calling you, hasn't he? Not answering. I nodded slowly. He stopped because I told him to, she continued. I told him I'd tell you worse lies if he didn't. But I can't anymore. The guilt is eating me alive. She stood up. He loves you. He's only ever loved you. After she left, I sat stunned. Then I picked up my phone and texted Leo. Dinner. Tomorrow. Just us. Sarah will watch Alara. Leo arrived exactly on time, holding flowers and looking nervous. We ordered takeout and ate at my small kitchen table like we used to years ago. At first, conversation was careful, superficial. But then he made a joke about my terrible cooking. I laughed and suddenly it felt like old times. We talked about everything. His work, my maternity leave, Alara's latest milestone. He told funny stories from the hospital. I showed him embarrassing pictures of Alara mid-diaper change. The heaviness lifted, replaced by something warm and familiar. After dinner we moved to the couch. Alara gurgled happily in her bouncer, watching us with wide eyes. "She's got your eyes," Leo said softly. "Your strength too." I looked at him, really looked. His face was so familiar, so dear. My heart pounded as he leaned slightly closer. The air between us felt electric. I started leaning in too, drawn by something stronger than logic. Our faces were inches apart. I could feel his breath, see the hope in his eyes. Then reality crashed back in. All the hurt, the abandonment, the fear of being left again. I pulled back quickly. "I can't. Not yet." Pain flashed across his face, but he nodded. "I understand. I'll wait as long as it takes." The next week I invited Leo for dinner again. I was determined to cook something edible, prove I wasn't completely hopeless. Leo arrived early, offering to help. Together we made pasta, laughing as flour ended up everywhere. Alara watched from her high chair, delighted by the chaos. "Remember when you tried making me breakfast in bed?" I said, grinning. "You nearly burned down my apartment." "That was one time," he protested, laughing. "The smoke alarm had it out for me." As if summoned by the memory, my smoke alarm suddenly shrieked. We'd left the garlic bread too long. Smoke poured from the oven. Leo grabbed Alara while I frantically opened windows. But the alarm kept screaming, and suddenly the hallway alarm joined in. "We have to go," Leo said, already moving. He carried Alara in one arm and tried to guide me with the other. But I slipped on spilled water, nearly falling. Without hesitation, Leo caught me, somehow holding both of us securely. He carried us both down 3 flights of stairs as neighbors emerged, confused and annoyed. Outside, we collapsed on the grass, laughing hysterically while firefighters checked my apartment. "You always rescue me," I whispered, looking up at him. His eyes softened. "Always will." My birthday came quietly. I'd planned nothing special, just another day with Alara, which was perfect enough. But when I opened my door that morning, Leo stood there holding coffee and pastries. "Happy birthday," he said, smiling warmly. "I have something planned. If you'll let me." He'd arranged everything. Sarah babysitting, a picnic in the park, all my favorite foods. We spread a blanket under trees just starting to change colors. It was perfect, magical, everything I'd secretly hoped for. Then his pager beeped. His face fell as he checked it. Emergency at the hospital. Multiple trauma victims. "I have to go," I said, swallowing disappointment. "People need you." "I'm so sorry, Maya. It's okay. Really. It's who you are." He kissed my forehead quickly, then ran. I packed up alone, trying not to cry. It was fine. It was his job. I understood. Back home I found a small box on my doorstep. Inside was a delicate bracelet with a single charm, Alara's birthstone, engraved with her birth date and time. A note read, "For the day you gave me hope again. I'll make it up to you. Promise." I fastened it on my wrist, crying happy tears. He understood. He was trying. That was enough. That weekend Leo asked to talk, really talk. We sat on my balcony while Alara napped, the city humming below. "I need to say something," he started, looking nervous. "About the day I left. About what I said." I remembered that morning vividly. He'd looked at me coldly and said, "I don't love you anymore. This isn't working." 3 sentences that destroyed me. "I lied," he said, now voice breaking. "When I said I didn't love you. I lied because my father was listening outside the door. Because I needed you to hate me so you'd move on, find someone better, be happy." Tears streamed down my face. "I knew," I whispered. "What?" "I didn't believe you. Not for a second." I reached for his hand. "You're a terrible liar, Leo. Your eyes gave you away. But that almost made it worse, knowing you were choosing to leave anyway for whatever reason." He gripped my hand tightly. I was so scared. Scared of losing my mother, scared of my father's threats, scared I'd destroy you by staying. So I ran like a coward. "You should have trusted me to understand." "I know. I'm so sorry." 2 months passed in gentle healing. Leo came by almost daily, bringing coffee, helping with Alara, slowly becoming part of our routine again. The walls between us crumbled gradually, replaced by something stronger. Trust earned through consistent presence. One afternoon, Alara was playing on her mat and Leo was helping me fold laundry. Suddenly, Alara pulled herself up on the couch, wobbled, then took 3 perfect steps toward Leo. We both gasped. She walked straight into his waiting arms, giggling proudly. Leo caught her, lifting her high, his face radiating pure joy. "You did it, baby girl. You walked." I watched them together, my heart so full it hurt. Leo looked over at me, Alara still in his arms, and his expression shifted. Serious. Tender. Terrified. "Maya," he said softly. "I know we're taking things slow. I know you're not ready yet. But I need you to know something." He set Alara down gently, then turned to me fully. "I love you. I never stopped. Not for 1 second. And if you'll let me, I want to spend the rest of my life proving I'll never leave again." He took a shaky breath. "Can we try again? Really try? Please." My heart pounded. This was the moment. The choice that would define everything. I looked at him. This man who'd broken me and spent months carefully putting me back together. This man who showed up every day, who loved our daughter fiercely, who was trying so hard to be worthy. "I don't know," I said honestly. His face fell slightly. "But I'm willing to try." Fully. Carefully. Hope flared in his eyes. "Yes. I mean we start dating. Real dating. With boundaries and honesty and patience." I took his hand. "I mean we build something new instead of trying to resurrect what died. Can you do that?" "Yes. Anything. Everything you need." We started slowly, almost awkwardly at first. Official dates with babysitters. Text conversations that stretched late into the night. Sharing dreams and fears we'd never voiced before. He told me about therapy, about working through his father's toxicity. I told him about my own healing journey, learning my worth. One night, 3 weeks into dating, he walked me to my door after dinner. We stood in the hallway, the air charged between us. "Can I kiss you?" he asked quietly. My heart raced. Yes. He kissed me softly, reverently, like I was precious and fragile and everything. I kissed him back, letting myself fall, letting myself trust. This time I didn't pull away. This time I let myself hope. 3 months into dating, I was digging through Alara's diaper bag for her pacifier when my fingers brushed something hard. I pulled it out slowly. A small velvet box. My heart stopped. I opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a ring, delicate, beautiful, with a small diamond that caught the light. The same ring from the photograph his mother had shown me. The one he'd held while sitting beside her hospital bed. Leo walked in from the kitchen, saw what I was holding, and went pale. "Maya, why is this in Alara's diaper bag?" I asked, voice shaking. He ran a hand through his hair, looking panicked and caught. "I've been carrying it around. Everywhere. Just in case." He laughed nervously. "This isn't how I wanted you to find it. Were you going to propose?" My heart hammered. "Eventually. Someday. When you were ready. I wanted it close. Like keeping a promise to myself that someday I'd be brave enough." He sat beside me carefully. "But this isn't a proposal. Not yet. You're not ready, and I'm not ready to deserve a yes." I stared at the ring, at him, at everything we'd rebuilt. "What if I put it on myself?" I asked quietly. His eyes widened. "What?" "Just to try. To see how it feels. No proposal, no pressure. Just possibility." Slowly, carefully, I slipped the ring onto my finger. It fit perfectly. Always had. "Maya," Leo breathed, staring at the ring on my finger. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm not ready for marriage. Not yet. But I'm not afraid of it anymore either." I touched his face gently. "I'm saying maybe someday soon, when you do ask properly, my answer might be yes." He let out a shaky breath, pulling me close. "I can wait. I'll wait forever if you need." "You won't have to wait forever," I promised. We decided to live in the maybe, in the possibility. The ring stayed on my finger. Not an engagement, just a symbol of intent. A promise we were both working toward. His father tried reaching out once, leaving messages demanding contact. Leo blocked him immediately, choosing his own family this time. "I won't let him poison this," Leo told me firmly. "Never again." We had hard days still. Moments when old fears surfaced, when I doubted, when he worried about being enough. But we talked through them. Went to couples therapy. Did the work. Slowly the maybe became more certain. The possibility felt more like inevitability. 6 months after I'd found the ring, Leo still hadn't officially proposed. But neither of us cared. We were building something better than a perfect proposal. We were building a real foundation that could weather anything life threw at us. Alara's first birthday arrived warm and bright. We threw a party at my apartment. Sarah, Leo's mother Catherine, close friends, and Alara's new little playmates. The apartment overflowed with balloons, laughter, and sticky frosting. Leo had baked the cake himself. A slightly lopsided unicorn that made everyone smile. As everyone sang happy birthday, I looked around at the family we'd built from broken pieces. Sarah caught my eye and winked. Catherine held Alara's hand as she tried to blow out her single candle. When the party wound down and most guests had left, I stood to give a toast. Thank you all for celebrating our girl. This year has been the hardest and most beautiful of my life. I became a mother. I learned about forgiveness. And I found my way back to someone I'd lost. I looked directly at Leo, tears in my eyes. Thank you for saving both our hearts. Leo stood slowly, then knelt down. Not on one knee but on both, with Alara in his arms. This time, he said, voice thick with emotion, we write the story together. All three of us. Whatever comes. No running, no secrets, no fear. Just us, being brave enough to choose love every single day. Alara reached for me and I took her, pulling Leo up into our embrace. My family. Broken, rebuilt, and finally whole. The end, and the beginning.